Hello everyone and welcome back to a brand new video here at Tablemon. I did take a little bit of a break since the last upload with the holidays and whatnot, but here we are in the first day of 2023 and already San Diego Regionals in the horizon. So I figured why not play with what has been deemed as the optimal Lugia VSTAR deck that ended up winning the biggest regional of history by Connor Finton. Yeah, it's of course Lugia VSTAR. It doesn't feature any crazy tech or anything other than consistency, right? Which you hear me talk about a lot in this channel. Now, we start off with a 3-3 Lugia VSTAR line, which is honestly surprising to see from, I don't know, my own. This is probably a personal preference thing, but like in my mind, if you don't get a Lugia down on turn 1, you're not going to have a chance at getting a turn 2 Lugia, right? So playing a 4-2 split, in my mind, makes a little bit more sense. Clearly, it worked for Connor. He went undefeated throughout the whole weekend at Texas in order to win the regional, but that is just something I wanted to note. I'd rather take the chance, the 1 in 100 chance of prizing both Lugia V-Stars than the chance of not finding that Lugia V on turn 1 by maximizing the chances with 4 Lugia V, 4 Quick Ball, and 4 Capture Energy. Clearly it worked, and that's fine. We also have the addition of attackers in Raikou. Raikou Amazing Rare is something that we hadn't been seeing a lot if the deck played Stoutland or just in general. It wasn't seeing a ton of play, but since Lost Box decks adapted to making sure that they had a response to Stoutland every single time that it was utilized, well, now Lost Box decks or other single price decks are forced not only to have a response to Stoutland, but also a response to Raikou, which usually means mana fee. Now, with this in mind, we still have the same regular attackers in Radiant Charizard and Amazing Rare Yveltal with the Amazing Destruction attack to be able to deal with Duraludon VMAX or any other threat. Of course, all these attacks can be very costly, but Archeops' Primal Turbo ability will allow us to search our deck for up to 2 special energy cards and attach them to one of our Pokemon and shuffle our deck afterwards. We will be getting these Pokemon into play through the Summoning Star V-Star power ability from Lugia, which is pretty amazing. Getting those two Archeops into play, essentially cheating the rules of Pokemon. Now, some of you might have seen some of the short form content that I'm also uploading to the channel where I go over this and many other things. So it would be awesome if you ended up checking it out. I think you'll enjoy it. They're a little bit more dynamic videos, if you will. But of course, this content will continue on the channel. But anyways, regarding the list, nothing else really stands out as out of the ordinary. The single copy of Birdkeeper to help with some paralysis situations. Outside of that, we have the Research, the Marnie, the Serena, and the bosses. We also have the addition of the V-Guard Energy for those interesting situations you might come up with. Attaching it to Raikou or Yveltal or even Oranguru does mean they do survive a Lumineon hit, which is very utilized in the mirror match. They can help reduce a retaliation from a Lugia V-Star attack as well. So niche uses, that's why you only play one, but definitely a cool card to have access to. And then you have 3 counters to Path to a Peak in Pumpkaboo, Lost Vacuum, and Collapse Stadium. 2 choice spells to increase our damage output and maximum searching Pokemon searching consistency with Incense, Quick Ball, and Ultra Ball. Let's jump into the ladder, play a couple of games with this, see how it feels. If you want to support the channel, you can use code Tablemon to get 5% off at Potent Store for your online codes, 10% off for your sealed product at Flipside Gaming, and 20% off for your superfoods at Amaranthi. Or if you're looking to buy singles or sleeves, you can fill up your cart and close the tab. Then click on the affiliate link in the description and check out. That way you can support the channel over at TCG Player, Card Market, and Dragon Shield. This video is sponsored by the Pokemon TCG deck building website PokemonCard.io. Alright, so not too bad of a start. I will be able to get 2 Archeopses and a Lugia down, like 2 Archeopses in the discard pile and a Lugia down, which is nice. We are also up against Lost Box, which is good. We do see the Capture Energy being played, probably signifying a Kyogre variant, right? It's either that or Giratina, but we really haven't seen Giratina all that much as of late. So this will probably be the Kyogre variant of the deck, which is fine, right? It's to be expected. We'll see how we can deal with this. Going second, of course, a light disadvantage. And there we go. Yeah, so now that we know we're up against this particular variant, we can also assume that our Lugia V will be very safe getting benched in the beginning. Now we do see I did price an Aurora Energy, so if I lose that Aurora Energy right now, I will not be able to attack with Raikou, right? So that is definitely something important to note. And it's so important. Well, both of these energies are actually extremely important in the grand scheme of things for both Stoutland and Raikou. Now, I can use Stoutland with the others, maybe not to knock out a Cramorant, but I can use it to knock out a Manaphy perhaps, or a Comfey. So that is important to note. So, like, I'm questioning whether I should grab the Oranguru here, because I do have 3 Lugias, 3 Quick Balls, 3 Ultra Balls, and 4 Captures. So it's tough, but I'm gonna make the executive decision to save the Aurora Energy. Hopefully I don't get punished by this to do badly, and I did get punished by this extremely horribly. What? Okay, well, we'll just have to make do. That's a very unfortunate thing to happen, but it is what it is. So anyways, we attach the capture to the active to help us with retreating purposes. We once again do not have the best hand going for us, but unless my opponent benches a Manaphy, we should be able to get the I'm gonna fail this. We should be able to get the double KO with Raikou, right? Now, failing that, capture energy was really sad, but it's part of what we need to do right here in order to apply pressure, because next turn I need to get the 2 archeops down, bench the Raikou, use 1 archeops to attach the double to root to Charizard, and then use the other archeops to attach 2 Auroras to Raikou, attach the last one from hand, and take 2 prizes that way. That's how you get ahead against these sort of decks. My opponent's best thing that they could accomplish right now would be hitting on the Charizard for 110, which is really not that big a deal. We do see a Pokestop and an Ordinary Rod in the Lost Zone, along with 3 energies already in the discard pile, 4 total having been seen. And yeah, 110 damage on the Charizard is not that big a deal. I love Capture Energy in Lost Box decks, definitely a good addition. Now, the best thing that I could do would certainly be combining this with this upcoming attack with a Marnie. That would be the ideal. How realistic that is another question, but look at that, yeah? Manaphy in the Lost Zone means really good news for us. Means guaranteed 2 prizes next turn, which is absolutely fantastic. And this, I think that's a combination of 2 things. Number 1, a lot of players do not keep up with tournament results, and I think that's very important. If the latest trend and the latest tournament results show that players are playing both Stoutland and Raikou, you have to account for that. Even if you, especially if you have not confirmed that your opponent does not play Raikou, then even more reason to go ahead and play the Raikou, and play down the Manaphy, right? You cannot not play the Manaphy anymore until you are 100% sure. And okay, let's think about this one though. They're at 5 cards. There is a chance, I guess, but Oranguru takes the same retreat as Charizard, so I'm gonna go ahead and promote. I mean, yeah, after that capture, of course. Oranguru costs the same to retreat. Lugia does as well, but maybe my opponent could do like a sneaky thing. Oh my god. I mean, I got the counter, unreal. They play one copy, I'm sure. They absolutely 100% only play one copy. I am 100% sure of that. That is insane. And now the fact that I'm going to have to play down the Pumpkaboo in order to counteract that means there's a Sableye target right there. I mean, it's what I have to do, but this is still unbelievably unlucky. Like, truthfully. Wait, no, this is actually terrible. This is, in fact, really, really bad. Because I cannot retreat an attack with the Lugia unless I invest the Aurora, and I cannot invest the Aurora. That much I do know. So I'm going to have to attack with Oranguru, and I will no longer have the option to use Statland. Oh my. What? I assure you 100% my opponent only plays one copy, and of course they had to find it when my hand sucked. Alright, well, I mean, we're not out of it, but that definitely puts a big dent to my plans. Kind of want to do the capture here. That really puts a big dent onto my plans. Jeez. Alright, so we'll whop down for the knockout, which is really odd. Useless price card, we know we have a useless top deck, and we're gonna use Oranguru, so that second research we got is just outstanding. But anyways, I mean, it's part of the game, it happens. Very unlucky that we are not able to disrupt, very unlucky that they had the perfectly timed path to a peak when they play one off and they can't directly search for it, but it is what it is, right? It is what it is. So they will presumably get one prize card after 2 attacks, and I will have taken 3 prize cards after 3 attacks, after 2 attacks, right? So that's good. Closing out the game might be the difficult part. We've only seen Psychic and Water so far. Now they're at 8 cards in the Lost Zone. Okay, so this is something potentially good though. I mean, depending on what my opponent does. Well, yeah, I'm gonna eliminate a Comfey. So I'm gonna knock out the Cramorant and use Raikou to KO a Comfey right here. That's gonna be the plan. It's gonna be a costly one though, for sure. So I know I'm gonna top deck the Aurora. And I will not have a Oranguru. I mean, this is potentially good, right? I hope my opponent doesn't rebench the Comfey, right? Because that makes their next Comfey promotion actually super awkward. And with 2 Cramorants down, I mean, if my Raikou is somehow able to survive, then that's just icing on the cake. All right, let's get our Aurora Energy here. Let's go ahead and bench the Raikou. Let's attach that. Let's power up. So if I still had the Powerfuls, I'd be so confident right now. Because I don't have them, I'm actually not super confident anymore, but we'll manage. I also can't use Luminion anymore to take a KO. I'm gonna choose the V-Guard. And we're gonna go ahead and attach this as well, you never know. We're gonna go Amazing Shot and KO the Comfey. So their best response to this, I guess, would be Sableye, right? They do have 6, 7, 8, 9 cards in the Lost Zone. They've also gotten rid of 1 Escape Rope, 1 Scoop Up Net, 2 Escape Ropes, 2 Nets, 1 Switch card. So probably still quite a few ways. Well, definitely quite a few ways still for my opponent to be able to retreat. And so Kyogre will allow my opponent to potentially take 3 prize cards, right? So Sableye takes out the Pumpkaboo, puts a lot on Lugia, and so they can draw 4 cards in 2 turns. There's the 2 Cramorants back as well with the Rod. Couple of energies back too. I don't play Manaphy, so I mean the game might come down to that, right? And this is a good example of the Manaphy, of the Lugia versus Lost Box match for sure. Now we do see the Snorlax come down, which is fair. We do see the Mirage Gate. No Sableye just yet. At least not shown. So I'm thinking Marnie KO Snorlax seems good. Right? Birdkeeper. Okay. Surprised they didn't Birdkeeper into Comfey to get the 10th card in the Lost Zone. They're only down 2 Colruses. And they did not bench the Comfey either. Surprisingly, okay. So Lugia. Yeah, I think it's power up Lugia KO plus Marnie, right? Because then pulling off the Kyogres should be really, really difficult for them, correct? And I do have enough energies to pull that off, which is fantastic. Also burn the Quick Ball. Just grab the Stoutland, which is now completely useless. And so kind of want to do this. Could do the 2 double turbos. I mean, I do have the Vacuum and the Collapsed and the Birdkeeper left. So I guess I can attach the Capture problem. This is me just trying to thin as much as possible. Now we finally get to Marnie. The Aurora Energy is still priced, but this Marnie should be really devastating. My opponent has so many cards in their hand, so many cards left in their deck that them getting down to 0 cards to pull off the Kyogre play, especially with back-to-back attacks, should prove extremely, extremely difficult, right? And so this is me just thinning. We're gonna go ahead and Tempest Dive for the KO and put my opponent on a very, very tight clock. The Aura Energy does allow me to be able to attack with Luminion if necessary. Like, oh, maybe I could have... Maybe there was a universe where I should have attacked with Luminion? No. Maybe there was a universe where I should have played the Collapse Stadium this previous turn. Okay, my opponent benches Sableye and Cramorant and Kyogre. And passes, so that's game. Right? That is absolutely game. So I'm going to go ahead and Collapse Stadium away the Pumpkaboo. And then quite simply power up the Charizard. And with the boss, knock out the Kyogre. I feel like that's good enough, right? I could also knock out the Greninja. Maybe knocking out the Greninja is actually better, because that stops their draw even more, right? Know what to discard the Stadium. And so now, how do they take 4 prizes this turn when they have 22 cards left? I don't think it's possible. So we had to adapt, we had to react. We had plans, and then my opponent messed with those plans. But despite our harsh draws in the beginning, the Raikou was the key card. I could have done the opposite and saved the powerful and then utilized a Stoutland as well. But if I had done that, then you have another 2-prize liability in play. So that was the differential for me. And when my opponent sent the match to beat the Lost Zone, that was a big deal, right? All right, let's play another match. All right, Lumineon is not usually the Pokemon that you want to see as your starter, but we have a decent enough hand to where it's unacceptable, and we're going first. So, and my opponent also started with their own Lumineon, so that's cool. Pretty interesting hand, and with that top deck, I'm actually in such a good spot. Let's check the energies though. I do have all Auroras. I did prize one powerful, so that will be important to note. Choice belts are not priced, rather. Lugia VSTARs are not priced. Yveltal is priced. That's also important to note. And so, what's the card to discard here for the other archeops? Honestly, I think it's the capture energy. I'm not super happy about it, but I think it's that one. And then I'm gonna go ahead and grab the archeops. Gonna go ahead and bench the Lugia and attach the Aurora to the Lumineon, and now I have done the best thing possible that the deck could do, right? Turn 1 Lugia with 2 archeopses in the discard pile. And we're up against a mirror match, so very cool to feature this mirror match as well. Now, we've seen plenty of times where players who go first still are not able to outright win. What? Did I just see? Search your deck for a basic Pokemon and put it onto your bench. Then shuffle your deck. You may switch that Pokemon with your active Pokemon. Okay. I mean, sure. That was the play. That was okay. I mean, I don't know what to say. And I whiffed the Lugia too. So any and all advantage that I had. Oh, this is the block Snorlax. I didn't even realize it. I thought it was the other Snorlax. I didn't even pay attention. I just saw Snorlax then. Oh boy. What is even happening right now? My opponent. What is happening? Gosh, and of course it was the next card. Okay. I am generally very something. I don't even know what to call it. Very something. Alright. So we're gonna Primal Turbo onto the active. All the energies that I definitely do not want to draw, because they'll just be going back into the deck after I attack with the Lumineon. And I would love to be able to go boss KO one of the Lugias perhaps next turn. Now this is an interesting spot. If I expect... Okay, my opponent drew past, right? Which absolutely could still happen. And whatever I promote is not retreating. So you know what? I'm gonna high roll the Raikou play right here. I am actually going to high roll the Raikou play. Just go Aqua Return. I do not take a KO, which is fine. And I'll promote the Raikou and be like, hey, if you got it, you got it. But if you don't, then you're in trouble, my friend. And now, this is an interesting decision. I have Serena or I have Boss, whatever I want. I could go Serena, knock out the Lumineon, because the Lumineon cannot be sent back to the... I mean, Lugias cannot be sent back to the deck, whereas Lumineon can be, right? But my opponent decides to concede. That Fury-Sowed Girl, like, that could have been a research, you know, or even a Bird Keeper. Do not play that card. It's horrible. All right, so let's see what we can do for this game. Now we have a pretty good hand. We're going first. The only thing that sucks is having started that Pumpkaboo. That top deck immediately makes things way better. We get a friendly hello, so we will send one back. And yeah, now this hand could actually not be... I guess the only thing that would make this hand better is if I had a counter stadium, just in case my opponent plays down a Path to a Peak. I do have Collapsed, I do have Lost Vacuum, but I did start the Pumpkaboo being a little careful on the more careful side, because I did also have the Yveltal as my other option for a starter. But yeah, things are looking pretty good. I did price the other double turbo, I did price one Aurora, but looking a-okay. Now, seeing these two, I am 100% sure that Yveltal can be discarded with no remorse right here. And the fact that my hand is Lugia VSTAR that my opponent knows and a research is really cool, for sure. Like, really, really good on my end. High rolling today. We're high rolling into the new year. Hopefully this is compensation for my horrible lock streak at Texas, and we'll be able to make up for that in San Diego this upcoming weekend. I'm very excited about that. Can't wait to go for San Diego. I feel like I don't know, I feel like very flared up after Texas. I felt like I was definitely in a good spot, playing well, made a good deck choice, just lady luck stepped in, but pretty flared up for San Diego. And the last time I played in San Diego, I made top 8. So hopefully we can repeat that this time around. That would be pretty cool. All right, so we see 2 Sobbles. We are seeing Ice Cube and we are seeing Greninja. So this might be the Jelly deck. This might actually be the Jelly deck right here. So having Pumpkaboo might actually not be a horrible thing. All right, my opponent very smartly immediately protects themselves with the Manaphy. So in my mind, Manaphy boss KO boss KO Manaphy with Stoutland into a Raikou KO could be the game-winning plan. I could also take the 2 prizes of Ice Cube this turn, and I have double boss already. So the issues, did I prize one powerful? I don't think I did. And I'm honestly not sure. All right, I did not prize any powerful. That's good. So we're going to start off the game with 2 prizes. We're also holding the Bird Keeper, which is really fortunate for potential next turn anti-paralysis shenanigans. But we're going to start off with a 2 prize turn against Ice Cube. You can see the power of Stoutland and combined with Raikou as well. Now, I fully expect to be able to attack next turn thanks to my single copy of Bird Keeper. Will that be enough? My opponent's 3-card hand after 1 turn should be a pretty good indicator that yes, I can, but we'll see. We shall see here. All right, we do see the Incense. We see an Inteleon. So Rare Candy coming into play most likely. Otherwise, why wouldn't you get Drizzle? Can my opponent right hand into an Articuno? They have a special energy attached, so they would need a basic energy. A way to discard the basic energy. The Articuno and the right hand. I feel like that's a big ask of a 2-card hand plus 2 cards from Inteleon. Maybe not impossible, but You never know. It's actually, and it's 2 energies, in fact, which can be done by a bucket, right? So bucket, quick ball. Bucket, quick ball. Into discard 1, right hand. Yeah, I guess that actually it's not that difficult. It's actually not that difficult. But they must already be holding at least one of the cards. I'm gonna choose boss though. Interestingly enough. So if my opponent does not evolve the Sobble, I might actually just go boss KO Sobble here. Because that mana V, either they remove it from play and risk losing to a Stoutland attack in case they play the boss, or they risk losing to the Raikou. So if my opponent attacks this Stoutland, I go after mana V. If my opponent attacks anything else, which looked like they were going to do because of that boss's orders, then I would go after the Sobble. But I'm happy to go boss KO the Manaphy here. Snom. I could also go after the Snom. I mean, I'm sure they still play Raihan anyways, right? So the merit to going after Sobble. Never mind. The merit to going after Sobble was the fact that, yeah, if they held the Drizzle, maybe that was their only way to actually do anything next turn. I feel like taking another 2 prizes here puts me so far ahead, though. So far ahead, especially because I'm just holding the Bird Keeper. So I always have one guaranteed way to get out of paralysis. Always. Every single time. There it is. I mean, I don't know. Both are tempting. But I think KOing Sobble is the right one. I feel like KOing Sobble wins me more games in the long run. Because it potentially stops my opponent's... well, it doesn't potentially. It stops my opponent's targeted draw. My opponent says, well played as well. And then... I'm just gonna take the KO. I mean, okay, I'll use 1 Primal Turbo on the V-Guard, just so I have the free treater. And then I'll double dip Fangs, take 2 more prize cards. So now they could potentially paralyze this Stoutland, sure. But Articuno does how much? 70? I guess they could manipulate it with another Sobble, but they need another rare candy to quick shooting. And by seeing the Radiant Greninja, we know they're not playing Radiant Alakazam. And by seeing the Snob, we know it's like it's not a hyper jelly focused deck like we saw in Toronto. So I don't know. I feel like that boss KO on Sobble means my opponent doesn't get to choose a card next turn, and that's usually good enough. Because if I go boss KO Manaphy, then that opens up potential Drizzle, get back the Manaphy, and then potential Intillin afterwards, and I don't know, like a lot of things. But this just puts a big halt on that. So much so that my opponent decides to rebench that Sobble. And I don't think that deck plays a lot of disruption. We do see the boss, which is fine. No, this just means I win now. Unless I get paralyzed. Which they did not. So now the game is over. Okay, so win in 3 attacks. Super easily. I mean, I did have double Luminion, right? So, like, having the first boss was lucky. Having a second boss when I have quick pulls and ultra pulls and everything, not that lucky, right? I mean, lucky that I already have it, but I had a lot of ways to search for it. But yeah, deck's pretty good, deck's pretty powerful. That's why you win regionals undefeated. Definitely be on the lookout against this sort of deck. And I'll catch you in the next video. Bye-bye.